Welcome back to the Law Show. I'm attorney Brian Dailey, broadcasting live from high atop the Law Show studios in the home of Motown, Detroit, Michigan, where we make great cars. The home of the UAW, the home of ex post facto laws if you're a friend of the governor, and the home of the MCCA that they won't let you look at, but they're saying it's about to go out of business. So anyway, we got a lot of other things. We got Coney's, we got Matt Katchuk, we got Dave Scott, we've got the lovely Jill, and we have the Law Show. I am attorney Brian Dailey, broadcasting live from the Law Show studios, answering all your legal questions at 855-529-7469. That's 855-529-7469. And we will be here for a few minutes more answering all your legal questions. When we're done, stay tuned and stay on the phone. Call us because the Law Show Extra will continue after the WJR broadcast discontinues at 12 p.m. We're going to go back to the phones right now. We're going to talk to Joel. Joel has an issue with a utility bill. Welcome to the show, Joe.
Hey, good morning.
What can I do for you, Joe?
I have a question about a utility that
Well,
getting my
don't mention the
bill
utility's
as
name,
normal.
okay?
And in October 2008, I got my bill as normal, but in November, and I paid it, but in November 2008, I didn't get a bill. December, January, all the way on up to January of 2012. I received no bill. I looked on the utility's website, checked my account there, said $0 due. Okay, all right. I printed out screenshots from the website every month that said $0 due. Now, earlier this year, I get a nastygram from the utility saying, you haven't paid your bill. And they presented me with a $2,000 bill and demanded payment. If I don't give them $2,000, they're going to turn me off. So my question is, or my statement is, that seems a little bit unreasonable. And what can we do about that?
Well, you first have to find out why they made the mistake. They clearly made a mistake. But here's the other thing, and this is what's really hard about utility bill questions. You knew you were getting the heat. You knew you were getting the air. You knew you were getting the light, right? You didn't think there was somebody down the street who was going to pay for it, did you?
Well, I thought that if they didn't update their bills online or send me a bill,
then you can have the utilities for free? If they don't send you a bill right, you get the utilities for free? Is that what you were thinking?
It's a gift, right?
Well, I don't know. There's got to be donative intent. So, Matt, help us out here with Joel.
Well, the one thing I would say that Joel, I think, should have a right to do is, to the extent this utility company waited several months before they issued him a bill, I don't think he should get that service for free, assuming he was getting it. But what he should be allowed to do is, when they hit him with the $2,000 bill, he should be allowed to make a payment plan, because I'm sure he wasn't, banking aside money every month because they failed to give him the bill. If they sat on giving him a bill, they can't now demand payment in full up front.
But wait a minute. Don't you think he should have been banking away money? I mean, he knew he was going to pay the money.
But what do
you think, that the utility fairy is going to come down and go ipso facto, happus capus? You don't owe any money?
No, definitely
That's
not.
why our bills are so high, because people don't pay their bills.
Well, how is he supposed to know how much to set aside?
It doesn't
every
matter.
month?
He knew he had to pay to look at the old bill and find an average.
I disagree. He should be allowed to set up a payment plan
You are
with no interest.
such a bleeding heart.
No interest.
You are
whatsoever.
such a bleeding heart. I can't believe it. He wants, you know what? If Matt Katchuk ever runs for office, the slogan's going to be free utilities for everybody. I can tell right now.
Well, no, but if they don't send you a bill, then you get to set up a payment plan with no interest, because that's their fault. Because he has a right to be notified every month of how much he's going to get accrued,
when you get a cold and you don't go to the doctor, and the doctor doesn't say you got a cold, you still have the cold.
Hey, he went on the website and tried to check it out, and the website was telling him he owed nothing. That's not his fault. Is he supposed to overhaul their own website? He's supposed to be the web designer for that utility company? Absolutely not.
You probably like Obamacare too, don't you?
I like fairness. That's what I like.
Yeah, fairness, you-know-what, because it's not fair that people don't pay their utility bills.
Well, it's not fair that taxpayers pay for people who don't pay for health insurance.
We're going to continue answering all your legal questions and continue this rant later. We're going to answer all your legal questions at 855-529-7469. We're going to talk to Dolores now. Dolores, welcome to the Law Show.
Hi.
What can I do for you, Dolores?
I have timeshare property in California, and I want to give it to a friend. I no longer use it, and I'm paying the maintenance and taxes. And she liked to have it, so I'm going to give it to her. How do I go about doing that?
Well, I'm assuming that part of the reason why you want to give it to her is because you don't want to have to be bothered by making those payments anymore, right?
Yes.
Right. So what you have to do is you have to get the timeshare organization to agree to allow you to give it to her so that she can take it over. They don't have to agree to do that. So you got to follow the law, and if this is in California, there's going to be specific law in relation to giving up timeshares and giving up real estate and property. And so you're going to have to follow it. You're going to need to get a lawyer in California to make sure that this is done properly. You could do it in a little bit different way. You could do it in a more informal way. You could just make her pay it, and as long as she's paying it, let her use it. There's a lot of things that can be done, but it's not necessarily going to be an easy thing to do. Okay, Dolores?
Okay.
So if you need more information and more advice, call us at 855-529-7469 during regular business hours from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. At the Dailey Law Firm on Woodward Avenue at Catalpa. It's 28,000 Woodward Avenue at Catalpa in Royal Oak, Michigan. And we are going to continue answering all your legal questions. We're going to talk to Al now. Al, welcome to the Law Show.
Hi, gentlemen. How are you this morning?
Good. What can I do for you, Al?
Okay. I leased a car for 3 years, and the lease came up in February. I paid my termination fee with $395. Now they're saying I had excess wear on the tires, 2 rear tires, for $324. And in addition, they're charging me sales tax for my original termination fee, plus on the tires. So I owe now $367, and I returned the car with 31,000 miles. It was a 36,000-mile lease. I'm giving them 5,000 miles free, but they still want to charge me for tire wear. And the thing is, when you get a reading, just like with your meters, you get your last reading and your current reading. Well, what they did when the lease expired, they told me that, or they said, this was your tire wear at the end of the lease. And I said, well, what did the lease start with? I'm getting no answers. So at this point, and the real kicker is they're charging me sales tax on my original payment plus the...
Was this a brand new car when you leased
wear
it?
and tear.
Was it a brand new car when you leased it?
Pardon?
Was this a brand new car when you leased it?
Brand new car, yes.
And so did you already turn it in and they just sent you a bill for $360, or you haven't turned it in yet?
I turned the car in.
Okay. What I would have said if you had not turned the car in is go to another dealership of the same type of vehicle, and if that didn't work, go to a completely different dealership with a competing brand and see if they'll do something for you. Just because somebody says you owe something doesn't mean you owe it. The problem here is something that Matt touched on a few minutes ago, and that is the corporations and the organizations that have more assets than you or I do are banking on the fact that this little $360 bill is not worth it for you to get a lawyer involved, and they're right, it's not.
That's right.
But you can't avoid it unless you go to small claims on your own and take your time. Now, $360 you and I is a lot of money. To them, it's not a whole lot of money, but they take $360 and they multiply it by 300 customers, and now they've got a pile of money. All right, so it's a big problem what they're doing. There's potentially a class action lawsuit if they breach the agreement by charging you excessive wear. What's excessive wear on the tires? Did they have a measurement to begin with? Can they determine this? I'm not sure, but the problem is you're sort of stuck, and I got to tell you, I'm really sorry to hear about that.
Yeah, I was guessing you would say that. All right, you guys.
Thanks for calling the Law Show.
Appreciate it.
We're going to continue answering all your legal questions at 855-529-7469. That's 855-529-7469. The Law Show Extra continues on thelawshow.com after we go off the air on WJR News Talk 760 WJR, and we'll be answering all your legal questions at that time as well. Doesn't that just upset you, Matt, when you hear stories like that?
Well, like you said, these corporations are banking on the fact, and they're taking advantage that he's just going to roll over and play dead for the $300 because it's not worth it for him to get a lawyer. The problem is they had a team of lawyers, probably all at $500 an hour, create the lease contract that this poor guy signed that probably gives them, somewhere buried within page 27 of the boilerplate, permission to do what they're doing. And the only way he can equalize it is to, follow through and take him to court. And I hope he does it. Go to small claims. All it costs you is the cost to file the complaint, and then, see if you can get them to roll over on themselves.
Yeah, then you go to small claims and you find a judge who doesn't really want to deal with it, and so they don't give you, an even break. They expect you to walk in there knowing all the court rules and knowing all the procedures. Now, I'm not saying every judge does this, but there are a lot of judges that will hold a litigant without a lawyer to the same standard as a litigant with a lawyer, and it's just not fair. I mean, you can't turn anywhere. It's not like this guy's got a friend in the governor's mansion. He can go get a law passed that says that you can't bill for excessive wear on the tires like Shostak got the legislature to do to get him out of that $2 million judgment for a piece of property. I mean, how do people deal with that? How do you compete with that?
Well, in small claims court where lawyers are not allowed, I think the magistrates and judges that run small claims courts are a lot more tolerant of pro se litigants that don't know the court rules, much more so than you would get from like a circuit court judge. So if there's one venue where you are going to get more of a fair shake without a lawyer, it's going to be small claims court because there are no lawyers in small claims court.
I think we should try to put a call into Mr. Shostak or maybe Governor Snyder to see if we can help this guy out. What do you think?
I think that'd be a great use of resources, definitely.
Yeah, okay. I can't wait to see what the result is. But anyway, so we really appreciate you coming on the air with us here today, Matt. We got one last call we're going to take, but I wanted to just chat and tell you how much I appreciate the advice on the family law and the criminal defense and the traffic and the driver's license restorations. You've been doing awfully good work for people that have been in trouble, and the listeners appreciate it, and I appreciate it as well.
Well, great. I'm 12 years in here with the Daily Law Firm, and it's been 12 great years with you, Brian, as both a friend, a mentor, and a boss. And if for any reason you have a question about any type of traffic or family law or probate issue and you couldn't get on today, call me during normal business hours. And like I said, I'm happy to talk to you over the phone or come and sit down. We pour a great cup of coffee here at Daily Law Firm, and I'm happy to do all initial consults for absolutely free.
For everybody who's listening, if you want to continue on News Talk 760 WJR, and that's not a bad decision for you to make, you can always call us later if you have a legal question. Glenn Hagee, the handyman, is going to be on WJR following us for a couple of hours, answering all your questions about how to fix up that fixer-upper and how to do things that need to be done. He'll tell you about all kinds of products, what's good and what's not good. And he is just a veritable font of information. We highly recommend that you listen in to Handyman Glenn Hagee on WJR. I want to thank Mike Parsons, and I want to thank also Kevin.
The other Mike.
Yeah, that's the other Mike. I want to thank Kevin. He was on the phones. Woo-hoo! And Dave. Thank you, Dave.
Once you get to know me, I'm sort of a barrel ass to be around.
Nah, I disagree, that's for sure. But anyway, I wanted to thank also, finally, last but not least, the lovely Jill. There's those angel wings. And we're going to end the show today with George. He's got something to say about the MCCA. George, let it rip.
Hello?
Go ahead. Tell us everything about the MCCA. You're on the air, George. Now's your time. He must be shy. I'm Brian Dailey. I'm host of The Law Show, founder of the Daily Law Firm. I answer all your legal questions every Sunday at 11 a.m. on News Talk 760 WJR from High Top the Law Show studios in Motown. That's the home of Motown, where we make the best cars in the whole wide world, Detroit, Michigan. At 11 a.m. on every Sunday, you can email your questions to questions@thelawshow.com. You can also get a hold of us anytime during the week at 855-529-7469. Stay out of trouble. We'll be back next week.